Okay, guys, we will be live. Okay.
Oh, you guys know Shane Callwood, huh? I'm sorry. Oh,
We're
wait, that's
live now. Hello, guys. Good afternoon, and welcome to Red Door Conversations. This is season 2, episode 19, Real Talk and Real Tea. I am one of your co-hosts, Lisa White, and the lovely Tana Young, who is also a co-host, will be joining me at the table today. And we have the lovely Kimberly Dixon Dudley and Marla Lewis, who are out on business today. You know, guys, we are realtors first, and duty has called. They will be back at the on the podcast with us on next week. So today, this is a show that you don't want to miss. This show today can literally save your life. I ask you to ask yourself, how safe are you? Do you take the necessary precautions every day, 24 hours a day, to protect yourself and your family? If not, this show is for you. So grab your lunch and your drink and tune in. We have some very special guests with us today. We have holistic martial arts master Misan, and we have Mr. Eric Prince with Total Precision Shooting. We will bring you two different perspectives on how you can practice self-defense to protect you and your family. This show was birthed from a recent incident that happened to me. And so about a week and a half ago, I received a call from an anonymous caller saying that they they were calling off of one of my listings, and they wanted me to show them some property. And so my response to them was, hey, what are you looking for? What area of town are you looking in? I'm asking some pre-qualifying questions because I'm not going to drop what I'm doing and head that way because I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So I sensed some hesitancy when I began asking those pre-qualifying questions. I asked them, had they been pre-approved through a lender? If they were looking to purchase a home, I needed to know if they had been pre-approved through a lender, and they told me no. They told me that they were on vacation here from California and they look at some properties. Now, this was the husband that was talking initially. The husband was talking to me, and he said, "We're just looking for some property. We're on vacation. We're thinking about moving here." And I said to them, okay, we need to schedule a buyer consultation because I can't just show up at a property and open that door for you, not knowing what it is you're looking for. And so the wife became angry, upset. We want to see property now. And I said, oh, I said, no, I'm not coming out there right now. I said, I'm headed to go pick up my kids from school. And so they just hung up, and they didn't want to schedule the buyer consultation. So that was a red flag for me. But because I've been in the industry 19 years, I know that I'm not going to run to the first caller. You don't know what kind of danger you're opening yourself up to. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, you have no idea. And Tana, I know you've had a situation similar as well. If you're a realtor, we all have. I mean,
Oh, yeah. And we have to be careful. And, we've been in this business for a long time, Lisa, but for those that haven't been in the business and they get that phone call, you remember how it is to be an agent and to get that phone call to go show property, to
Yeah.
a potential buyer. And so you do get really excited. I know for me, when I first got into the business, I was really, really excited. And so sometimes you don't think and you just run out without getting all of the information that you need to give to your broker or to give to your spouse or your children to let them know where you're at. And it's always good to pre-qualify them over the phone. So you want to make sure that you have that pre-approval. You want to make sure that you have that driver's license and whatnot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we delve into the show, like I said, we have some very exciting guests, but before we delve into the show, we're going to discuss our red hot topic for today. As you guys know, today is 9/11. And so this is the 19th anniversary. And so Tana, why don't you lead us in on that?
Yeah, this, I want to, again, I know it's the anniversary of 9/11, and it just takes us back to that day, what you were doing when 9/11, those planes struck the towers in New York. And I know for me, I can remember exactly what I was doing, Lisa. I can even remember the outfit that I had on.
Wow.
I was getting ready for, on my way to work. A coworker was on her way to pick me up, and I was in the house. I didn't have my television on. I didn't have the radio on. So her name was April. She came and knocked on my door, and she just had this look on her face. And I'm like, April, what's the matter? And she's like, Tana, you didn't hear. And I said, hear what? And she said, and at that time, only one plane had hit the tower. And she said, a plane, I'm sorry, hit the tower. And so I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And I didn't understand how serious it was until I actually got to work. I worked for Charter Communications, which is a cable company. And it was just horrible to see that second plane hit the tower. It just crushed me. I was in disbelief. And at that time, my oldest son, he was actually in Massachusetts. And so his family did not want to fly to bring him back. So I was, planes were grounded. And so once we were able to fly, I was one of the first people to get on a plane to go to Rhode Island to get my son. I'm sorry, Massachusetts. I flew into Rhode Island to go get my son. And I remember there was a Sky Marshal sitting next to me. And I really don't drink on a plane, but I will tell you guys this. I had a few drinks on that plane. I was scared. It was a very unsettling, just feeling to be on an airplane, knowing of just everything that had just happened not too long ago.
Mr. Prince, what about you? Where were you when 9/11 happened? One moment, because you're on mute. One moment.
Yeah.
You were on mute. What now?
Understood. I was actually transitioned out of the military. I remember it because I had like 3 weeks to go. And the thing I was worried about, I was like, what are y'all talking about? 9/11. What are y'all talking about? Not 9/11. What are y'all talking about? A plane? Because it was something that was unheard of. Being a soldier, you think, U.S. is so well protected, so well guarded that no one would dare attack the U.S. I guess it's arrogance. And I remember sitting in the room thinking, we have to go back to war. We're going to go to war for this. Am I going to get out? Because stop loss had happened to me once before when they say certain personnel can't leave the military. I'm like, look, I already been through this once. I'm trying to go home. I'm done now. And it just caught me off guard. I remember calling home, asking my mom, have y'all heard anything? Because they kind of like keep the military. They try not to show us too much of stuff because, incitement and things of this nature. And so once the second plane hit, and they said, hey, man, then they leaked, it came out to us that the third plane was actually going to the Pentagon. And I was like, oh, well, this is really going to be something serious now.
Yeah.
And all I can do is wait to see when my order's going to be revoked or they're going to let me get out. And they gave me the option, would you like to stay or would you like to get out? I was so close to planning because I already get ready to start working at the refinery and things of this nature. I already had my interviews and stuff. So now I'm just going to go home, but I already knew the step. If I was a bit arranger, that I knew I could call back anytime. So I came home and just played it by ear from that point on.
What about you, Misan? What were you doing when 9/11 happened?
I had just finished my day of classes. I was in college. I was in Atlanta. and I heard it on the radio, as I was driving, I was leaving the building, and so actually, as I was coming out of the classroom, I went to the break room
Mhm.
for the students, and we're looking up at this TV, and I saw it happen, and I was like, wow. And
Mm,
first thing I thought to myself is, it's about to get jiggy. That's
Mhm.
it,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And I instantly went into some type of survival mode. I
Mhm.
am former military as well, and but I wanted more information, but I saw it and I thought to myself, okay, let's start preparing, because if
Mhm.
this happens here on the soil of the United States, like I said, because their strategy for war and in the military and for the U.S., for the United States, is to take the war, and we're gonna, you know, dirty up your and destroy your neighborhood and keep it from
Mhm.
being here. That's part of the strategy, which I appreciate. And that's what allows us to be able to walk around here in sandals and flip flops and sliders.
Mhm.
You guys understand, some people don't understand that. That's part of that freedom and quote
Mhm.
unquote security. But
Mhm.
that's where I was at, and it was shocking to me. But my mind, my thoughts were like, okay, what do we do? Let's go. What do I need to prepare to,
mhm.
how
Right.
things are going to go down. So that's what happened, and that's where I was. Yes.
And so for myself, I was actually working for a governmental agency at the time. And I was selling real estate part-time, but I'd only had my real estate license for 1 month. And
Mm,
uh, I was working for a governmental agency, and I just remember being very fearful because it appeared as though the government agencies were being attacked, and so they immediately let us go home. Um, After it happened, I mean, we were out of that building in less than an hour. That's because you didn't know who was the next target, and so
that's right.
I remember thinking on the way home, okay, because I was engaged by that time to Kevin. We had just gotten engaged that July, I believe it was. And so I was like, okay, am I going to be able to be married? Am I going to have some kids? I felt like all of this was just coming before me, and that none of it was going to be able to happen. It felt kind of to me like the end of the world, if you, so to speak.
Do you guys remember how it felt not to hear any planes in the sky? It
Mm-hmm.
was so quiet, so still.
Mm-hmm.
It was such an eerie feeling. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I
Yeah,
do,
I remember
Tana.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they had grounded all flights. And
Mm-hmm.
once we got all the backstory later on, yeah, it was
How long were the
pretty
flights
interesting.
grounded for? Do you guys remember? I don't recall if it was a week or I don't remember. I just
I don't know.
remember I'm like, oh my God, I have to go get my son. I have to go get my
Right.
child. And there
Okay.
were only a few people on the plane. And I remember there was this guy that was actually sitting in my row. And I don't know if he was nervous, but he took his index finger and he pushed it in his jaw and he just had this crazy look. And I was like, hey, you all need to do something. And the flight attendant came over and she's like, sir, you have to stop doing that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was a really sad moment for our country.
Okay. We just wanted to, before we started our show, we wanted to just kind of take a moment to reflect and just know that we're keeping all of those families that were affected in our prayers. And so we're going to get into the show because, like I said, this is one that you don't want to miss. I asked you earlier in the show, how safe are you? So, Tana, do you want to introduce our next guest?
Absolutely. Okay, take
Okay.
a sip of my tea. So, I am introducing Misan, and he is with Hyde Park. And Misan, please correct me if I don't pronounce this right.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead. It's
Misan is
Shaolin.
Shaolin
Mhm.
Qigong Kung Fu.
Right.
That is his studio, and he's also a holistic martial arts master.
Okay.
And so,
Excellent.
yes, yes. So, welcome to the show, Misan. Tell us,
Thank you
tell
so
us, tell us.
much.
How long have you been a master arts instructor?
Well, I would say
And give us a
this.
little bit
I've been
about
a
your
master.
background.
Yeah. Say it again.
Give us a little bit of information about your background, how you got to become, how you became a master arts kung fu instructor.
Well, I've been practicing martial arts for 30 years. I grew up in a martial arts family, and I was the person in my family who took this to the next level. My mother practiced karate. My grandfather practiced. He practiced Aikido. I found out later on in life. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool to find out. This is something that's in my blood, I guess. And my dad was a martial artist. He liked judo and karate and all these different things. And then later on in life, he got into more of the holistic side of martial arts. And that side of the martial arts is more, it's more internal. It's so your styles like Tai Chi. And then there's some other styles out there. Like there's another one called Bagua. In Chinese and English, that means 8 changing palms. But it's more internal, more medicinal, but still martial. And and so later on, what happens is I met a teacher. I met a guy and living in New York City, a monk from the Shaolin Monastery in China. And I sat down with him and he accepted me to be his student, which I found out that's how it goes. In China, the teacher picks the students, but here in this world we live in, the student picks the teacher, which isn't always the best thing to do now in retrospect, because the teacher knows who can do it and who can't. But, people here, we do it a different way, which I kind of like that old way better now that I learned more about it. But yeah, so I had been practicing martial arts 20 years before I even met him. And when I met him, in like 28 days, he showed me that I didn't learn anything. So it was great. So that changed me. And then that even had me to rethink everybody who I learned from, because if he says this about me and they thought I was good, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, where did, what's going on with these types of schools that are out there? And it's been narrowed down to this. Most schools in the United States are built on just self-defense, and there's no morals or ethics or no holistic side of it, because you can see a guy who's kind of really out of shape. I don't mean just because he's heavy, but he's out of shape and heavy. And you see what I'm saying? So that's not holistic. He's not embodying the philosophy of wholeness in your health and your well-being. And once I got that, I was like, wow, that's interesting, because we have a lot of that going on here. But when you go to China, most martial artists over there, those guys, the majority of them, not all of them, they're really thin. They're really thin guys, and but they're powerful. And you go, well, that makes sense. Okay, now it's elusive, because you see them, you say, okay, this guy is real thin, and he's powerful. How is this happening? And it's because they.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Question, Misan. So
Sure.
for the common person who is looking for some techniques to protect themselves, what are some of the best self-defense techniques that you can recommend to someone?
First of all, I would say you need to take care of your health, because if you learn the ability to fight or to defend yourself, but you don't have the power to do it, then you run a higher risk on. Okay, it's like just giving a child something that they can't hold. Okay, he has a gun, but is he strong enough to hold the gun? And I've seen some people have these classes, and it might work for some of them, but the rest of them it may not work for, and that's just to be honest. So first of all, I would say you need to be stronger, and you need to condition your body properly, and then find something that you can use. No matter what it is, something is better than nothing. So I will say that something is better than nothing when it comes to doing that. And so the fast foods of martial arts will get you there. There are your karates, your taekwondos, your jujitsus. Those are all your common forms of martial arts. The rest of them take a little bit longer, but they're better for you in the long run, because it's a way of life instead of just something quick and easy.
And so what are some of the overall benefits to self-defense training that you found since you've been in the industry?
Since I've been involved in this industry, the best things have been, how can I put it? You want to, how can I put it? So the best self-defense, repeat the question for me again.
What are some of the benefits of self-defense training? Because
Okay,
here
got you.
we're,
I got you.
we're wanting our viewers to be able to take some things with them in order,
Gotcha.
once they leave their home or inside their home, they want to be able to use some techniques and some things in order to defend themselves. And so I want to
Gotcha.
know, what are the best self-defense techniques and what are some benefits of self-defense training?
Yeah, the benefits of self-defense training is, first of all, right off the top, you have the ability to defend yourself no matter what and where you are. It can be on a plane, it could be you can be anywhere, and you have the confidence to know that, hey, I can get myself out of a situation.
Mhm.
But I also believe too, it's not just martial arts. Like the gentleman who's on the show as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, you need to have some weapons training. Some type
Okay.
of weapons training, because if you don't have your weapon, you have self-defense. You have your own personal conditioning of your body, so that's a benefit. The other benefit is, the boost of confidence, the awareness. You learn what to watch out for,
Mhm.
and
Right.
people's behavior. Hey, this guy's becoming kind of a little agitated. I think we need to move over here. You see what I'm saying? And that's
Exactly.
to save him, so you don't have to kick him. Now, if he follows you, then you have to punch and kick him, or find some way to get him off of you. But I don't believe in like going in on somebody after they're down. If they're down, then you leave the environment or the situation. And also too, what they teach you too is situational awareness. Be mindful. I tell people, don't walk around with headphones on. That's part of
Exactly.
self-defense. Lock your doors, different things like that. Don't be distracted. So it teaches you focus. It teaches you how to concentrate on what you're doing, which is the antithesis to how things are going on. People are
Now,
addicted to being distracted.
now
Yeah.
during the pandemic, have you been
Yes.
classes online? How are you doing classes? Are your classes face to face?
My classes are, we never stopped. So we
Okay.
never stopped training the way we do, because what we do is holistic. It improves your immune system. Just real quickly, what we do defies what you've been taught about the average person, what they've been taught about human physiology, anatomy, and health. So we didn't stop, because my students were strong, and they're still strong to this day.
Okay.
And then I got into online classes later on for those who were new to this whole way of working out, but they knew something about it was good,
Mhm.
and they said, hey, we want to be involved. So I opened up my online training in April, and I went full public in July.
Okay. And just really quick, I just have to
Sure.
ask this. So if you're walking and someone comes up from behind you,
Mhm.
how would one defend themselves with someone that has grabbed you from behind?
Depends on how they grab you. There's several ways. The first thing about it is, I'm not going to say you're always able to do that, to know that someone's walking up behind you. So it depends. There's several different techniques, to for someone to grab you. It would take me to demonstrate, or have somebody
Mhm.
here to demonstrate what would happen, or how would I handle the situation. Because in my mind, you asking me that, I could think of a number of ways I could walk up behind somebody, or somebody could walk up behind me.
So
But the best thing to do is to, like, if you make some noise. If you have somebody around you, make some noise. A lot of people don't understand this, but if you have a backpack on, if it's a North Face backpack, those backpacks have whistles. Somebody grabs you, get your mouth on the whistle, blow and move, and try to throw some elbows behind you, stomp on toes, reach back,
You rub
grab
on top.
eyes. Yeah, I would reach back, if, depending on if I was, say, somebody who didn't know much. This is something easy. You can reach back and put your thumb in somebody's eyes. You can reach back, grab a lip, grab a nose, put your finger somewhere. It may not sound like the most cleanest thing, but your whole method, your whole idea right now is survival. And I teach my students that if you are nice to the enemy, you're being cruel to yourself. So if that
Exactly.
person shouldn't have never grabbed you. Even if they were playing, I let my friends know, well, here's the play. Here's what happened. I'm gonna put my thumb on your eye, and I'm about to push it in.
So
Exactly.
Misan, how can, if somebody is interested in taking one of your classes, how can they reach you?
You can reach me on Instagram. It's the most the most common way of getting in contact with me. My Instagram handle is Qigong Nissan, which is spelled Qigong, and Misan. You'll see it pop up. And my name is spelled MESAN.
Got it.
And you can direct message me. That's what most people do. And they say, hey, look, I want to see what you're doing. I want to get involved. What can I do? And I send them a price list. I send them the schedule, and we go from there.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. We're going to
You're
get
welcome.
into our next guest. His name is none other than Mr. Eric Prince, and he is with Total Precision Shooting. My first experience with Mr. Prince was about latter part of July. It was me and a couple of friends. We actually took his license to carry class, and it was a wealth of information that was shared. Mr. Prince, welcome to the show. And why don't you tell us a little bit about Total Precision Shooting and what you guys do over there?
Good afternoon. Well, Total Precision Shooting is a company that's based upon I like to say the general public, the people that aren't really familiar with guns, because what we want to do is provide you guys a safe environment and then destroy the stigmatism about guns. A lot of people, they're either for guns or against guns. There's no gray area, and a gun is like anything else. It's a tool. Like I told you in the class, it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather for you never have to use a gun in your life, but also rather for you that if you have to use a gun, to know how to use it. Because in our society, everyone thinks they can pick up a firearm and fire it, and that's not the case. If you remember, when you go to the gun range, 3 yards, 5 yards, and 3, 7, and 15 yards is a long way for a beginner to shoot and actually hit a target accurate. Because as martial arts instructors spoke about, we talk about proxemics, but when you're firing a gun, a person can move on you that close that distance on you so fast. If you don't know how to use a firearm, you only put yourselves in harm's way. So this company was set up to just ease the burden for people and to have people just to be relaxed with firearms, because I want them to be relaxed. Because with COVID-19, I hate to say it, the environment right now it's only going to get worse.
And so have
wow.
you seen the attendance with you got with the classes that you guys offer? Did it increase at the start of the pandemic?
Yes, ma'am. What happened, the first thing that I noticed, has been an instructor and been an FFL dealer, fellow firearm dealers. The first thing I noticed is that firearms were plentiful. Now they're not plentiful. Mm-hmm. I noticed the next thing, ammunition was plentiful, but it's not plentiful. Mm-hmm.
Gun sales increased dramatically, huh?
Yes, ma'am. Because what happens with the manufacturer, not to throw them under the bus, but if you were buying a firearm and they had the MSRP listed of say $500, and they've sold that gun for $350 for the last 5 years. Well, now in the pandemic, they can raise that gun up to that price, and you have to worry about being charged with price gouging and things like that, because they've already said that's how much the gun costs,
Mm-hmm.
And the manufacturers are not trying to put that much on the market because they're making revenue. Because if you remember during the pandemic, the gun stores, our business, thing like that, they were called essential businesses for some reason.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay. So can you tell the listeners and the viewers, how long does it take? How long is the process to obtain your license to carry?
Okay. The class itself is a 4.5-hour course. Okay. Which, it's done normally on a Saturday. I myself do it on Saturday so I can free your Saturdays up. Then once that process is done, we'll go to the gun range. You'll demonstrate you can shoot. An average person takes about 10, 15 minutes to load and shoot 50 rounds. Then you will leave the classroom. You'll receive a certificate that day. It provides you pass both portions of the class, and you'll be able to apply to the state of Texas. You'll fill out your application to the state of Texas. You get your fingerprints done. So that could take about a couple of days. It depends on how booked the fingerprints places are. And then once you've done all that and scanned everything in, if your background is pretty much squeaky clean or there's no hiccups and you're verifying everything that you say that's on there, it should take you about 3 to 4 weeks, and your license will come to you in the mail.
Okay, now I have a question for you. So how does one determine which firearm is the best firearm for them? I've heard for women, you should go based off the size of your hand. I don't know how true that is, but what can you tell us, which firearm should we choose?
That too is a good measuring point by your the size of your hand, mm-hmm. how well you control the firearm, your skill level. And then, like the instructor said about choosing the students, not choosing the teacher. When you take a class with me, I'm evaluating on that point too, to see what you can handle. Because a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, but a lot of females, and there's no penalty against females or husbands. A lot of husbands buy guns for the females, for their wives together, because what they like, and that may not be
Right.
suitable for them. That gun may not fit in their hands properly. We buy guns by names, and just because it says it's a good name, that gun may not work for you. For as fitting in your hand properly. This nature. So then you got to figure out how you're going to carry the gun. Are you going to carry, Ms. Young? Are you going to carry daily? Like in your guys' field, you guys should carry concealed. And because just like you spoke earlier, you guys go to visit people's homes. You guys could call out, so therefore you need to be able to carry something that's concealable where you can still dress appropriate because it's business attire for you guys, and be able to, and a firearm do the job. Not just saying, well, I want a little cute gun. Well, a cute gun is just that cute, but will it work? Is it going to do what it's supposed to? You need it.
It's going to do its job.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. So you told us about the process. How much is it to take your class?
The class is $75, which
Okay.
includes what does not include your ammunition and your range fee. So I tell people all the time the reason why it's like that. A lot of people say, "Well, I don't have a firearm." Don't worry, I will loan you a firearm for free. It's no big deal because the goal is for you to be able to obtain your license. So I'm not gonna put a roadblock in, but I can't give you ammunition because again, that's an explosive. So you have to purchase that and pay your own range fee. The reason why is because some people, when you get to the gun range, they're so nervous or they can't get past the bangs and this and that. And if they fail, then I'm losing money. So if you pay your own money, then you concentrate a little bit more, and it's only $25.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah,
Mr.
ammunition
Prince,
and
do you
range fee.
travel to locations to teach the class? If you do, is there a minimum amount of people that need to enroll in order for you to go ahead and travel to teach these classes? Or do we
Yeah.
need to come to you?
Yes, ma'am. Well, we travel. I have a satellite office in Dallas area. I do it in San Antonio. In the Houston area, I do it in one location due to COVID-19 because we're still red. And last time I looked, the place I use, I'm able to have the students more than 6 feet apart. I'm able to have the students mask. I'm able to check the temperatures throughout the classroom to try to mitigate any one doping up, saying that, okay, I'm okay, but you actually mask your symptoms that morning. And then later on that day, you start developing a fever again.
Okay.
Now we talked about what's the process, how long is the process? We talked about how to determine the best firearm for you. Can you tell our viewers and listeners what are some benefits to having that LTC license?
Okay, one of the major benefits I tell all students, just as well as anyone off the street, the LTC license is basically, think of it as insurance, because for some reason, a lot of law-abiding citizens believe that you can use a firearm in the state of Texas for self-defense. You can't, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in your home, yes. You're in your automobile, yes. Outside that home and automobile, Texas does not have stand your ground. We have a castle doctrine. The castle doctrine covers your home and your automobile. That's it, period. If you use a firearm in any other way, any other means outside that home or outside that automobile without a license, you will be charged with, first you'll be charged with unlawfully carrying a weapon, and then you're probably going to charge with attempted murder.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So just to clarify, you are able to carry a gun inside of your vehicle because it's your personal property, correct?
Yes, you can. You
And
can
if you
carry
were
a
to-
firearm. You can carry a firearm inside your personal vehicle as long as you meet you meet one of the four criteria. Don't meet one of the four criteria. You're not a gang member. You're not involved in any activities other than traffic violations. You're legally able to carry that gun yourself, okay? And it's your vehicle. You can carry that firearm. And you're lawful age, meaning if it's a handgun, you must be over 21.
Mm-hmm.
Good
Okay.
info.
Excellent info. So, Mr. Prince, can you tell our viewers and listeners how can they contact you if they're interested in taking one of your LTC classes? What's the best way for them to contact you?
The best way to contact me is to go to the webpage, which would be www.totalprecisionshooting.com. Or if they want to just go to the Facebook, you can go to our Facebook, which is License to Carry. But the Facebook is the best way because if you go to the Facebook, you'll see all of the listed class dates. You'll pick the class date you want. You'll register for the class. You'll pay. Then you'll get an automatic email with verification of payment and the class schedule and when the class is available.
Okay. Okay. Now we are realtors. If we had a group of realtors that wanted to take your class, what's the minimum amount of realtors that we need in order for you to have your class?
Well, I since you've taken the class, you already know what I want to be able to do, what I'm able to do. So I wouldn't lock you guys into 10 or 15. If you guys had 10 people, because I know you guys work on the weekends, getting 10 realtors together is going to be very difficult, probably. So
Mhm.
with you guys, we'll have to probably merge you with a class. So if y'all got 6 or more and I can merge you with a class, y'all okay having an open class, then fine. But if you guys want a private class, then of course we'd have to do 12 because I have to
12.
pay for the facility. Yes, ma'am. I have to pay for the facility that we're going
Got
to.
it. Okay.
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 Wow.
Tana, you want to close us
Yeah,
out?
thanks so much for, again, thank you, Mr. Prince, for joining us, and thank you, Misan, for joining us as
Welcome.
well. And
You're
as
very
Pleasure.
always, thank you to our viewers for watching another Red Door Conversation show. You can follow us on Instagram and like our page on Facebook, as well as subscribe to YouTube at Red Door Conversations. Thanks so much, guys, and have a wonderful and safe weekend.
Bye-bye.